Hey, welcome back everybody to the DFL Podcast. We're a day early, so I don't know how many people are going to get on the live stream tonight, but that's all right. We're keen for Wildcard Weekend. I'm here with my mate Arch, and
You are.
we're pumped. Playoff football is here, my friend. Let's go. You ready?
Somewhat. I'm just ready for my heart to be broken, Rowan.
Yeah, fair call. It's look, that Giants Minnesota game coming up. I'm nervous for you, to be honest. What Kirk Cousins are we gonna get this week? Is it gonna be primetime Cousins, or is it gonna be, decent, get the ball to Justin Jefferson Cousins? So we'll see. We'll see how we go. But
Look, let's just say I'll be putting a lot of emotional insurance the other way in the betting card. Just
so
to
you
get
bring
me
your
through
bias
the day.
then to the analysis tonight.
Baby.
Good to see. Oh, far out. Well, that's why I should never give you the Minnesota games, but I pity you sometimes. If you're watching on YouTube, then please give us a like and subscribe, and you can find us also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at the TFL Podcast. So check us out and give us a 5-star review if you're listening to us on a podcast as well. So look, we're keen for the week. Don't forget to join Draftstars. It's a great time to play some NFL DFS. If you're out, well, everyone's out now in terms of your season-long NFL fantasy. So the way to keep it going is to play some Draftstars and win a bit of money along the way. It's a good fun. So hit bit.ly/join Draftstars if you want to join.
Yes.
But we as well, we have two. We have two contests, two TFL contests this week. We've got the Wildcard Sunday at bit.ly/TFL Wildcard Sunday. It's a mouthful. It's in the lobby as well. And the Wildcard Monday as well. Yeah. So bit.ly/Wildcard Monday. Look, it's a big weekend of football, and there's plenty to happen, that's for sure. And of course, Arch is back with his DFS spreadsheets. He's got two, one for Monday, one for Sunday, and that is accessed through our Patreon at patreon.com/the TFL Podcast. Cost you $5 a month. Well, $5 for the rest of the season. Really, that's it. That's it. Oh. So get on board. It is a great asset. That's for sure. Arch, yes. It's a funny time. Like, I was unsure whether they're going to give us micros for playoffs, but they're giving us two micros here. So I'm still playing ball with everyone, especially after last week where I got to take down the micro for week 18. Let's go, boys! It was fun.
How many micros in the year now is that, Ron?
I think I hit 3. I think I hit 3 micros. If someone might say I hit 4. No, I think I just hit 3. But did you take it? How'd you go? How's it feel? Like the year's kind of done in terms of the regular season.
Yeah.
What's your reflections?
Look, I struggle. I think I've just about only broken even this year. I had the one contest. I had a couple mini wins. One was with 30 mates in a showdown, but
yes,
but the Christmas Day mini was the other one, which was nice to get. Obviously, the prize pools are starting to go down as less people are playing. I think the micros slashed in half for each of these two things, which I thought maybe they might hold off, thinking maybe they'll get a bit of a playoff boost. But I guess under their guaranteed plus model, that the prize pool does grow if it goes over their cap, so they're just guared, I guess, not to lose money. But that just doesn't work in our favour. So how dare these companies make money? A little bit, only a 1,111 size player pool.
It'll go over.
It has to.
It'll definitely go over. Surely that pushes itself up to about 1,600, I imagine. On both days, like people are keen for playoff football. Like get around it, and this is really like the last chance to get into the micros as well, because then after this week you get these just 2-game slates, and it gets a little bit tricky to really find all the different leverage points. It's less enjoyable, I think. The 2-game slates.
The people that listen to this show, Rod, what they need to do is, no doubt they're in a couple season-long leagues, right? Get onto your mates. Put up in your group chat, bit.ly/join Draftstars, or one of the contest ones. Say, hey guys, I know you love fantasy and you're out and you're probably already itching. Here's a way to have some action on the weekend.
Definitely.
And, it'll be great. Boost the field size. Us who take it a little bit more seriously
makes the game better.
And it'll be fun. So get your mates involved.
That's it.
Using our
Tonight,
link.
we have got it. Hit the link. We have got 2 days to preview. We've got 5 games that we're going to talk through here. We're going to leave the Bucks Tampa one in its showdown nonsense for the rest of you guys to figure out. I'll be playing it, but we're not going to talk about it tonight. We're going to focus on Sunday and Monday.
Yes.
And Arch, I hope you're ready, because I'm ready to jump into a wildcard weekend. Let's go!
Oh, yeah! Ha! Ha! It's a Super Wildcard Weekend double slate time! Yeah!
Let's do it. I'm keen. Sunday, we've got 2 games coming up. We have got the Seattle Seahawks at San Francisco. San Francisco are 9.5-point favorites. And the over-under here is 42.5. Let's compare that just quickly to the Chargers at Jacksonville, where the over-under is 47.5.
Yes.
So we're already just looking at
Just
what
two
the bookies
games
are
late.
saying. We know where the ownership's probably going to go, and it's going to go to Arch's preview in a second. But that is where we like leverage. And I think there's some good plays, and there's avenues to success through this Seattle at San Francisco game. So let's just jump into it. Let's just think.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking last 4 weeks. Okay, Arch, I know you like to think last 5 weeks, but I'm just
I
thinking
don't know why I do that.
last 4 weeks. Anyway, let's just have a think through what's been going on for Seattle. The Seattle offense has died off compared to what we saw early in the year. They're now 24th only in expected points added per play. They're 27th in the pass in that regard, and 14th in the rush. And I think what we're seeing here is the absence of Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett missed, I think it was 2 weeks, came back against the Jets, but wasn't fully healthy, so he only played a limited snaps in that regard. So that was 2 weeks ago. And so what we've got here is a no Lockett kind of statistics pool, really, to give us these numbers. And so there is space here to read between the lines and actually see that, okay, they've gotten healthier, and we saw Tyler Lockett come back last week and have a pretty decent game, considering that there is space here for Seattle to still provide a sense of offense. So I'm not writing Seattle off here, but Geno has especially not been the Geno that we saw in the beginning of the year when he was just on fire. Now, let's have a look here at the Draftstars contest, and let's start with Seattle. Geno here is priced at $13,380. When I compare that to the other quarterbacks, like, he's the cheapest. Like, that's nice, and that's tempting in some regard, but he's not cheapest by a long way.
No.
It's not clear daylight between Geno and anyone else. Brock Purdy just sits above him by a mere $250. So there's nothing really separating the two of them, and really, if I'm looking at form, if I'm looking at the offense as a whole, I'm probably going to steer clear of Geno in this regard. Just, if I'm playing the micro, he might be in, say, 10 to 15% of my lineups. The rest of them will fill with the other quarterbacks. So that's where I'm sitting with Geno in particular. But I think this offense still has something to give. Now, if I'm talking about what San Francisco bring, though, they are fourth in defending EPA per play, and they're third in defending the rush EPA. And so what that tells me is, okay, Kenneth Walker's got something that we like to call a tough matchup, a very tough matchup. And yes, his usage has been high, but if we look at what he's done, it's been solid. Last 3 weeks have been solid. He's going to be the guy at the goal line, yes. But he has to get these, let's be honest, for running backs, these are middling, they're middle to top tier, like barely touching the top tier in terms of what a great running back can bring. He's had to give 100-plus rushing yard games in the last 3 weeks to be able to hit these kind of mid-teens numbers. the ceiling is not there for Kenneth Walker, and that's because we're not seeing him on the ground. Now, not on the ground, in the air. Now, against San Francisco back on the 16th of December, we are seeing, oh, look, he hit 4 receptions, but that's also because I'm pretty sure that's the game that Tyler Lockett went down. He got injured against San Francisco. Yes, he had 7 for 68, but he got injured. Kenneth Walker comes in. Yep. You know, often that's where these targets go, and especially when they're getting pressure on the quarterback, they'll dump it off a little bit more. Now, sure, let's say that's what we get. But I'm asking you the question: is that 11.9 enough? Is 11.9 points a ceiling for Kenneth Walker against San Francisco? And I kind of think it is. I don't know if there's going to be much else going there unless he hits pay dirt, unless he makes it into the end zone. If he gets into the end zone and he picks up 4 receptions, then yeah, there's some value. That's decent. But I don't think Kenneth Walker's breaking the slate for you. And so if you're going to chase the ceiling, I don't think Kenneth Walker's the guy. What do you think just on Kenneth Walker quickly?
Yeah, look, I mean, even if you take the filters off and just look at the running back landscape on this two-game slate, there's only 4 guys really that you're probably wanting to consider. The rest are sort of dart throws, and perhaps you'll probably talk about Elijah Mitchell a little bit later. But to me, I think the fact that there are only 4, I think Walker's going to have a lot of ownership. So it potentially is a nice little fading point if you think you've got other options. My problem is, with the salary as high at the other 2 guys, a lot of people are just going to be forced into playing Walker.
It's true. It shovels your lineup build into a chalky build. And what we mean by that is that it's not just chalky players that you're involving. It's that the whole structure of your lineups just become really chalky. And so if you're forced to pay up and you're like, oh, I'm fading Kenneth Walker, that means I'm forced to potentially pay up for Christian McCaffrey or Austin Eckler, or have to include Travis Etienne. Suddenly that limits your pool. The running back room is very, very constrained, and you're not getting different. You're not pushing above the rest of the field when it comes to these 1,500 entry contests. So yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm going, even in a 500-man contest, I'm still thinking, yeah, you have to have a little bit of Kenneth Walker, but there are actually other ways that I want to get different. And so yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, that's Kenneth Walker. I'm kind of off of him. Now, in the last 4 weeks, what we've had is a Seattle offense that has been 31st in explosive pass percentage, which has really been a dip on what they've done in the beginning of the year. But Tyler Lockett comes back, and last week he had a longest reception of 36 yards. Pretty handy. Colby Parkinson last week had a longest reception of also 36 yards. So here we go. The offense is starting to tick up through the air, and yeah, particularly Tyler Lockett. I think what he does for this offense is really important in terms of spreading the field in terms of where they're going. And so San Francisco are weakest against the pass, and they're giving up the 7th most adjusted fantasy points against 2 wide receivers. So I'm looking at Lockett and Metcalf here going, okay, there's some meat to the bone on this Seattle offense in regard to that. Seattle are 13th in pass percentage, so that's okay. And so the hesitancy is still there to stack Geno. I don't know if he provides you with a ceiling this week, but I think either Metcalf or Lockett could be a guy that at their prices, so let's just have a look at their prices, sorry. We're looking here at DK Metcalf being 11,650, pretty decent. But he's third highest priced wide receiver on the slate. Tyler Lockett, though, goes down to 10,340, and I think that's... Now, people might pivot here, and it might be quite popular because of what they know Tyler Lockett to be. But I think a lot of people look at DK Metcalf, go, he's the alpha, he's the guy that can push down the field. And he can, for sure. But Tyler Lockett has just got something to his stride that just is exciting to watch. And he can push down the field and create that separation from quarterbacks.
No, and I think with what's on the screen at the moment, you're going to look at a lot of people wanting to maybe go to the other game, and you think, all right, if Mike Williams' back's okay, they'll similar price. If not, Zay Jones is being popular, but also Josh Palmer will become the chalkiest of the chalk if Williams is out as well. And so stuck in the middle is Lockett. So I don't mind that as a way to get pretty different on the field on a 2-game slate.
Yeah, so I really like Tyler Lockett. He's probably one of my favourite plays this week. Otherwise, who else we need to talk about? Well, tight end land. There's not much going on. You've got Colby Parkinson, who showed up last week for 2 for 47, but had that long reception, so we know that he can push down the field, which is great. Against the Jets, he caught a touchdown. It's tricky, though, with Noah Fant. Yes, he's got the questionable tag next to him, but he caught 4 passes last week, so more targets than Colby Parkinson. If you're thinking opportunity, Fant is still the guy in my mind, in a PPR sense, which is what we play on Draftstars, then Fant's still my preferred tight end option here. Anyway, let's flip to the other side, because I think the other side is where it's exciting. Brock Purdy, goodness me, what is this? Where has this kid come from? He's been so solid. So solid.
Yeah, especially for what he's been costing us until this week.
Exactly. But even now, we're looking at this going, and you're going to talk about the Jacksonville defense coming up and what we've seen from Herbert this year. Brock Purdy could easily, he could be the top scoring quarterback.
Yep.
This week. It's not out of the realm of possibility. So I'm not saying he will, because I think the way that San Francisco want to play this game is through the ground, through the run game. But get different and stack Purdy and bring in Kittle. And he's got Kittle, Samuel, Ayuk, and Juwan Jennings. He's been serviceable as well. They'll use him every now and then. He's getting looks. But Purdy now has the dream offense around him. Christian McCaffrey as well, of course. And Elijah Mitchell. We'll talk about Elijah Mitchell in a second. But look, I'm looking at this. San Francisco's offense have been first in expected points added per play overall. 4th in the pass, 3rd in the rush. Seattle's defense, they've been actually semi-decent the last month, and they are 10th in defensive total EPA. 4th in defending the pass, which I think is really important here, because they're 26th in defending the rush. I think this, Shanahan's not an idiot by any stretch. He knows what he's doing, and he has just got 2 of the best, and I mean that sincerely for Elijah Mitchell, 2 of the best running backs in the competition. Yep. We saw what Elijah Mitchell did last year, and they had at no point have they said, "Oh, we don't need you anymore because we've got Christian McCaffrey." They have paired these 2 up to work beautifully in tandem. And so Christian McCaffrey, yes, he's just a workhorse, gets the receptions, all that kind of stuff. But what he's doing is allowing Elijah Mitchell to then come in and rush for 11 yards a carry, which is what he did last week. 5 for 52 on the ground and 2 touchdowns. So I'm looking here at Elijah Mitchell. He's 8K for running backs on the best offense of the last month. It's just really, really enticing to just play him almost 100%, because I think the ceiling is there for an 8K guy. And what I actually really am keen to do to get different, I hope this gets different, is to play both CMC and Elijah Mitchell. This is an avenue I think that we talk about, and that sews up the running back spots, and it means you don't have to get asked that ugly question of, do I play Kenneth Walker or not? And you're going to talk about Austin Eckler, but playing just both of these running backs, I think, is really a great way to go about it. I think it's the way I'll be going. I think because I want to almost avoid the crowded receiver room. I've got Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, sometimes Jennings, Ray McLeod.
It's not
the options
at all.
Say that again.
It's just not a condensed target share, is it?
No, I think picking it's going to be really, really hard. It's a method you could not a method. It's a path you could take in the micro when you've got lots of entries. I think to try and play around with, okay, how do I pair this up? But in the mini kind of type situation, I think I'm just avoiding because I don't know if I can hit it. However, Seattle are 22nd in adjusted fantasy points against for tight ends. So Kittle is my preferred receiving option in San Francisco above Debo and Ayuk, I think. Well, Kittle's just shown in the last month how good he can be in creating yards after the catch. So here is where I would go if I'm going to stack this game. I'm probably not going to stack it fully, but if I am going to put Geno in, then I'm actually going to go, I'm going to shoot for the moon here, and this is what we do on these low or 2-game, 3-game slates, is that just stack a whole game around something. And so let's go Geno, Lockett, Metcalf, and Parkinson. Let's play the 4 of them together. Bring it back with CMC and Mitchell. And you're avoiding the Chargers Jacksonville game, but I think that's how you get different here. This is a way to win the competition is to really just go, I'm going to put 6 guys from one game into my lineup, and that's where we go from there. The other side, put Purdy and Kittle and then one of the other receivers and then bring it back with Lockett. That's a pretty standard stack, and I think a lot of people will be doing it. But I actually kind of like the full-blown Seattle stack because I think they're going to be playing from behind as well. So anyway, there you go. That's what I think about the Seattle-San Francisco game.
Yep, great. No worries.
Arch, I know I talk a lot, so it's over to you, and you can't talk much now.
Yeah, that's right. That's the wrap-up already. Yeah. So this is the game of this 2-game slate that should command the ownership, really, just purely on Vegas totals. So as you can see on the screen, Chargers -2 line there against Jacksonville, over under 47. So we've got home dogs in Jacksonville, which I find a little bit interesting. I thought maybe Jacksonville might have earned a little bit of favoritism. I don't know what you think about that, Ron.
Yeah, no, I actually really like Jacksonville this week.
Yeah, something about, could they be the people's team going through the playoffs? I don't know.
Quite possibly.
So let's just dive right in. So let's start with on the favourites, Chargers side. Last 5 weeks, Rowan, top 10 in EPA per play and pass EPA per play and explosive pass percentage. So they've got an offense that is working. They've got high pace. They're 5th in neutral pace of play. These are all things we like seeing when we're trying to build lineups, because fantasy points happens around those sort of stuff. 4th in pass rate over expectation as well. However, Jacksonville on the defensive side, they are 1st in EPA per play. They are restricting points. So this is a big test for the Chargers. So that this is where I think it's going to get interesting, where it's we're not so much getting a mismatch. We're getting solid offense versus solid defense, and what's going to break. So this could be a real fun matchup, or it could be one that fading might just get you out of a lot of trouble. But I don't know. I hope that it just goes off. So where there is a bit of a mismatch, the Chargers are 21st in pressure percentage. They're not doing that great at protecting Herbert. Jacksonville are 1st in pressure percentage defensively. So Jags defense Sack City. Sack City, that's right. So I do worry about Herbert, and there's a few different scenarios you could play out this game, and I'll give them all to you. So the way I'd play on the Chargers side is through the air here, and Herbert double stacks are a nice way to attack it. Herbert's not going to do too much on the ground, so if he's going to get there, he's going to need 300 odd yards and 3 touchdowns. And Herbert has, in the past, done that. But this year, it's been pretty thin, hasn't it, Ron?
Yeah.
And so, look, Jacksonville are giving up the 6th most points in schedule-adjusted points to quarterbacks and 9th most to wide receivers. So this is where you want to attack the Jacksonville defense through the air. So I really do like the pass catches on the Chargers side this week. So, I mean, the obvious contenders here, Keenan Allen. Mike Williams, he's done his back. It's not a fracture. So it's really a wait and see on Mike Williams as the week progresses. What's your lean on whether he's playing or not, Rowan?
Yeah, look, the scans came back negative. And I think we should have prefaced the show with this. We're recording this quite early in the week, and
Wednesday.
So there's a lot of injuries, injury news that we are not aware of. So if you're listening to this later in the week on the Friday or Saturday, then apologise if we miss some injury news and stuff like that. But it's just too early to say on a lot of these guys. So Mike Williams, we hope he gets up, and fingers crossed that's what the news we get soon.
Yeah. If Mike Williams does play, I kind of do like Josh Palmer as someone who could go off without too much ownership. And potentially, if Mike Williams doesn't play, it's chalk you're willing to eat as well. So at 9K, I think that's a good option. Everett as well as in tight end is an option as another pass catcher. DeAndre Carter, yes, he's 6K. He could get there. Like, it's there if you need a punt play to get your lineup built.
Oh, you hope he scores a touchdown. That's really it. That's why you're playing.
And it won't kill you, but it's, again, a bit thin play. So the pass, I won't hammer you to death. Like, they're the guys. Like, you're going to play this side of the ball. They're the guys. You're going to, potentially, you might play 2 wide receivers and Everett with Herbert, or you might, if you can somehow fit in Eckler as well. And so, on to Eckler, Ron.
Yes.
Do you want me to play a little something?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I've got to.
If you can get it for me. Oh, we can't hear anything at the moment.
Declare bankruptcy!
All right, nuts on the line here, Owen. Eckler is my fate of the week for Super Wildcard Sunday in Australia. I like that face. Look, he's facing a team that gives away the 6th fewest schedule-adjusted fantasy points to the running back position. And you might say, oh, Eckler's not like a normal running back. Look, this is to the position, not to rushing. Okay, and they've faced a lot of running backs that do catch the ball as well. So don't overthink it there. He's 17K. It's a pretty thin slate. Yes, he's gonna get a lot of ownership because people love Eckler. They just love him because he's a nice guy. He's into fantasy. Considering the Jags are also 3rd in pass EPA per play and 1st in total EPA per play, Eckler's going to find it tough. And to get to his ceilings, he's going to need some momentum on the ground, and I just don't see it happening this week. So I'm thinking it's going to be a floor type of week for Eckler, and so I'm going to avoid if the field's all over him.
That's a big call, Arch.
Now I'm running and hiding! Ah, bloody hell!
Let's hope it doesn't turn out the way some of our other fades have gone this year.
I like it. And so this is, listeners, this is where normally after I make one of these players, Rowan then backs me up. He has not backed me up here. So he is an Eckler guy. So he doesn't want that to be true. So I think, I like, as you said, I like McCaffrey, Mitchell as them options there. As you said, Walker's not going to get you a ceiling, but on a 2-game slate, sometimes a 13K running back just getting 15 points is enough because there's not anything else anywhere else.
But there's another 13K running back that I like better than Walker.
Oh, yes.
So maybe let's move on to the next team.
That's right.
Here.
So Jacksonville, let's look at them. Top 7 in EPA per play and pass EPA per play versus the Chargers top 6 defensively in the same areas. So another strong v strong matchup. So again, this is going to be fun matchup, or it could be dead shit boring because they just lock it down. But anyway, let's hope it's the fun one. The Chargers defense, as we know, we keep saying, thanks Peachy, he's with me. We all know that Chargers are a run funnel, right? It's said to death. They're 29th in rush EPA per play, 28th in explosive rush. They give it up on the ground. So if people are playing Chargers stacks, the popular run back makes sense to be ETN, right? And so to me, it's a 2-game slate. We can't just only look at, think about ownership as we have in, the main slates. Sometimes you just got to take a guy that is going to be 70% owned because, hey, he's quote unquote, the top play, right? And so you got to play him. So ETN, I love him this week. I think it's a nice little spot for him. And again, at 13K, I think we can almost pencil in 15-point floor. And again, I think on this slate, that's probably all you need from the running back position. We just can't get greedy here. So don't overthink it. Play the chalk there. ETN, I like him. 13.2K, great value. Let's go to the passing game now. In week 3 against the Chargers, Rowan, Lawrence ended up with 25 Draftstars points. And it was about that time we're starting to think, Lawrence is actually starting to play pretty well. And looking good, while he's playing. And so it was a huge win on the road. And as you look at his box score throughout the year, it's up and down, up and down. He can score you under 10, or he could get you a 30-plus ceiling. What do we do in tournaments, Ron? We shoot for ceiling. Who's got the ceiling? Lawrence has the ceiling here. And so we've seen just a few weeks ago him hit that 30-point milestone, and I think he can do that again today. It's a 2-game slate, and there's not many options. I think Lawrence is probably my favourite quarterback of this slate. So, and obviously if he gets there, you want to double, maybe even triple stack him in this game.
Definitely triple stack. It's the way you got to. Everyone's going to double stack. Everyone will double stack.
It's 2-game slate, so you're hoping for 3 touchdowns, and you want to get those touchdowns on whoever takes the ball from him. So, but the thing that I love about Lawrence stacks this week is that it's just so good, so much good value. The top targets are like 10K. Kirk,
I can't believe it's 10K. Like that's absurd. He should.
I mean, we'll round it up to 11, 13. Shall we?
Yeah.
but then you're going to get your secondary target, right? So potentially you play ETN with him, but Zay Jones at 9.5K, I think he's been very popular of late. I've noticed in ownership percentages. So where I might maybe switch to is Marvin Jones. You get a nice little 6K basement here, but I don't think you're going to get the ownership. But he also has the ability to 2x his salary, which is going to be nice. So again, I'll be cycling through those 3 pass catches, and the tight end is huge in play. Evan Ingram. Look, you've straight on the screen there. There's a 42-point ceiling. If maybe he just catches all the touchdowns that Lawrence gets, which means your triple stack probably didn't work that well for you the rest of your lineup, maybe. But I think between those 4 guys with Lawrence, you cycling through some double stacks, some triple stacks, just getting different mixes, different game scripts, thinking about how the game plays out. You've still got heaps of salary everywhere else, Rowan. So that's what I love about the Jags.
Bring in CMC.
Exactly.
I like double tight end.
Yeah,
actually, Kittle and Ingram, I think, are a nice play together.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's talk about. So basically, I like the Jags through the air just because I think and I could be wrong, but I'm guessing the field just has Herbert in their mind as the pretty play, and so they'll play Herbert's passing game, bring it back with ETN. So to me, the opposite of that is I'm attacking Jags passing game.
Yeah.
All right, so stacking, as I said, Lawrence, Kirk, Marvin Jones, and Ingram. That's probably my favourite 4 build. And then bring it back with Keenan Allen. I think that's just a nice little safe bring back there.
Yeah, Keenan's a great play regardless, I reckon.
Yep.
He's shown his ceiling. And even when Herbert stinks, Keenan Allen doesn't. So I think that's great. Let's put a little lineup here. We're going to do this twice.
Yes.
We're going to do it for Sunday and for Monday. So let's do it for our Sunday friends. And I think we should go with the quarterback we've been talking about. That's Trevor Lawrence. And let's play the triple stack. I'm going to put Ingram in. We're going to put Christian Kirk in. Who do you like better, Zay Jones or Marvin Jones here, Chris?
Look, I think Zay Jones has the better body of work, but potentially I'd like the salary saving of Marvin Jones, and if you've gone past him, and if that's away from where the field's going as well.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll bring it back. We'll bring back Keenan Allen. I'll put him in the flex because it's the late game and it gives you that extra swappability if you have to. DST here. Do we just go San Francisco because they've been so darn good, or can you play the Seahawks?
But so is probably 70% of the field as well.
True. You can't play the Chargers, and I think we've played. I don't know if you can play the Jags with 4 Jags skill position players.
I think you can.
I mean, that's a stack and a half.
Yeah,
I don't
put
like
in
that.
San Fran.
In San Fran? Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, if you put in Seattle, you've saved some salary, but you might end up with -4 points. So.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell.
Yes.
Where is he? Where is that boy?
Just type him in, mate.
I should just.
He doesn't have a photo, I reckon.
No, he does. He does. The last wide receiver we can put in is DK Metcalf. Happy with that. That's a nice lineup.
Yep, and I don't mind on a 2-game slate having Lockett instead of Metcalf as well. You don't. These are the ones where
sacrificing some salary. You mean?
Yeah, you don't need, and that's again a way to get different. As most people will try to fill up the salary, which on a main slate correlates to winning, but smaller slates and showdowns, it's shown that you can still get there regularly.
For sure. No, very nice. There you go. That's Sunday. That's 2 games. We're going to move on to Monday.
Geez.
We're going to probably push
35 minutes in, Rowan.
A little bit quicker. So, let me get up the Monday Draftstars screen here for those watching on YouTube. And we've got some I'm liking the looks of here. Miami at Buffalo. Let's start there. Let's start with Miami. Got questions around Tua. His concussion. We're not too sure what's going to be happening there. We also have questions with Teddy Bridgewater, who's dealing with a broken finger. So, if neither of them play, we get Skylar Thompson again. And Skylar Thompson is sitting in the 8K range. And do I recommend you play him? No, because even as a starter, he sucks. Even with Hill and Waddle in the team, he sucks. So, the only way you're going to play this team as a stack is if you know that one of Bridgewater or Tua is available. Because even with Bridgewater around, he's shown that he can get the ball through the air. Now, given that was against Minnesota, whose wide receiver defense is rubbish, there's still he knows how to play the game. He knows how to play the game enough. Tyreek Hill sitting here at 13K. He's
Minnesota
got the ceiling.
Product, mind you.
Say that again.
He's a Minnesota product, old Bridgewater.
Oh, of course he is. That's right. He'll want to get one up against his old team for sure. Look, he hasn't had the questionable tag there, which is surprising for me. So potentially he's the guy that we're going to be seeing here. Now, let's just talk some stats here in terms of what Miami are going to bring. Last month, they are 13th in total EPA. They are first in explosive pass percentage, which is right up, Hill, and that's because of Hill and Waddle and what they're doing. Their rush EPA, though, is very good at 5th. Very excited by that because I think that speaks to someone that we'll get to in a second. And Buffalo on the defensive side are only 18th in defending the rush in terms of EPA per play. So, and get this, they are 27th in allowing in their defense in allowing explosive rushes. So that's great for Jeff Wilson, really in particular.
Yeah.
They're decent against the pass. They're middle tier against the pass. So there is an opportunity here. Like Buffalo's defense was so good at the beginning of the season. I don't think though. I think that it sticks. The last month they've just been okay. But I think the question we have to ask you with this particular game is what Buffalo are we getting? And this is playoff Buffalo. This is Buffalo that are going to be so keen to make their way to this final game of the year. Josh Allen's been so close already. He's back. He's going to perform. So Miami really have a lot to look out for because defensively, Miami stink. They are 28th in total EPA per play defensively, 29th against the pass. Sure, they're 9th against the rush in terms of defending that. But it's this. We know what Allen brings through the air with Diggs, Davis, and McKenzie. It's the place to attack it. So, if I'm going to talk about Miami, really, I don't know if I want to stack much. But what you're banking on is Hill and Waddle going off and providing enormous yards after the catch. And so, if you're going to play Teddy Bridgewater, you're playing Hill and Waddle. I don't know why you'd play one of them. I just don't think it's a good way. Like the savings on Bridgewater isn't even that big, and I think will be Bridgewater. Tua hasn't been cleared to practice yet. Now Raheem Mostert is dealing with what was it, a thumb? Is that right, Arch? You had that down. Yeah, Mostert is dealing with an injury.
Pretty bad apparently.
So, yes, it's not great. So Jeff Wilson here, priced at 11,320.
Yes, love it.
Is good. And I know we're looking at a losing side here. Let's be honest. Miami are probably going to lose this game. Buffalo are favored by 9 points. But Jeff Wilson, when he's got the workload, he can show off. And with particularly Buffalo being poor against explosive rushes, well, I think this is where Jeff Wilson can shine. And Mike McDaniels knows how to get the best out of him. So the only real play I like out of this Miami side is Jeff Wilson. So let's flip over then to Buffalo, where I just like everything. I really just almost like everything. Josh Allen, he's priced up though. Goodness me,
man.
almost 20K.
Oh, jeepers.
It's a tough ask.
I mean,
Like,
the
if you're gonna
38.9 did happen against Miami, though.
Yes. Well, there you go. That's right. So if you're looking at
that
this,
was a tour Miami, wasn't it?
that was two of Miami. That's right. That was where they just both pushed each other.
Yeah.
I love it. They're division rivals as well. So there's just so much to play for here, and I think both these teams will push it up. And he's got over under 47. I think he goes beyond that. But yeah, Alan Diggs is expensive. Throw Gabe Davis into that. It's expensive. So I'm cautious here. Now, Stephon Diggs came back last week, really showed out against New England, 7 for 104 and 1. Fantastic. Miami, though, was held to 5 for 60.
Yeah.
It wasn't Diggs that did it. It was, I believe, this man, Dawson Knox, 6 for 98 and a touchdown.
Yep.
Dawson Knox, 4 straight receiving touchdowns. I think if you recall to last year's playoffs, Knox was the guy. Knox came through in these big game situations. One of my favorite players of Buffalo is Dawson Knox. So I really am a big fan of him. If we're looking in terms of schedule adjusted fantasy points against Miami are allowing the 29th, I believe, or 30th even. Schedule adjusted fantasy points against 2 tight ends. So Dawson Knox is in just an amazing spot. And well, the last game against Miami really showed that as well. So if you want to pivot off of Diggs because it's so expensive, then I really am a fan of an Allen Davis Knox stack. That's kind of where I would take this. Now, McKenzie, he's still running on terms of 50% of the snaps, but he hasn't produced lately. But we know that he can be decent in the slot. So in terms of needing a bit of salary relief, McKenzie's the guy here that you want to go to. Look, Devin Singletary has had one good game against Chicago, but against Miami, just whatever numbers. James Cook is probably the guy that most people have liked lately.
Yeah.
But even him against Miami with a touchdown, not so great. The 17 points against Chicago, I think I'm just looking at it going against Chicago, so I don't really care. I don't know if I can
think
trust.
The intent of the team is that I think they're starting to enjoy what he can bring to the table.
Sure. And if they get up big, then I think James Cook's the guy to run.
8K fee. That might be a nice little play.
Yeah, fair call. If you want to pivot off of this game, off the receivers in this game, then I don't mind James Cook. All right, so there you go. I think if we're going to stack this game, it's an Allen stack, and you're stacking it. Look, if you can afford it, Allen, Diggs, Davis, McKenzie.
What's the rest of your lineup look like?
Trash.
Averaging out at 8.6K the rest of the way.
Yeah, it looks ugly. Look, to be honest, I'd almost just go, let's just go Davis and Knox. And I think I just said that before. So
yeah,
that way you're still left with decent playroom in terms of your salary. So that's the way I'd probably attack this game. And I really like this because Miami just, like I said, they're stuck against the pass. And
when did Davis have his big game, Rowan? In playoffs.
Oh, it's the playoffs. Let's go. 4 touchdowns for Gabe Davis. That'd be great. Watch him do it again. Anyway, so
when I have 0% of him.
That's it. That's Miami and Buffalo. That's all I care to say about that one. Arch, who have you got next?
Just a little homer pick in the Giants at Minnesota.
Let's go.
Oh dear! Look, this matchup happened in week 16, and it delivered multiple top 10 entries in the main and mini, with either having mainly Kirk stacks actually, and one Daniel Jones in the main. Like this was the one I won the mini actually with Gardner Minshew was the other guy, the other play for that week.
That's right.
But yeah, so I did poo-poo and then had a think. But for over under a 48.5, it's highest one on the slate, I believe. And so, look, maybe Buffalo gets some popularity. Maybe Cincinnati gets some popularity, but this is where the crowd should be going if they're not. Because we've got evidence that it works. It's the same venue. The only difference is obviously the pressure of playoff football. And so, look, that does things to a man. So let's see where it goes. So Giants last 5 weeks, 10th in total EPA per play versus Minnesota's defense, which is 24th. So we're talking about mismatches now. The offense this is Giants offense has been second in rush EPA per play. That's not just Saquon, that's Danny Jones just doing things on the ground. Minnesota 22nd in that regard defensively. Again, mismatch. Giants are also fourth in explosive rush. Minnesota defense are dead last in defensive drive success. They are letting oppositions down the field and then finishing with points.
What is this team? This is not a playoff team.
Maybe it is, Ron. Maybe we're about to go on a glorious run. Something happens sometimes. Kirk Cousins just wins games. And then sometimes he's just, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Anyway. I don't know. Anyway, let's.
If you win, I look forward to the Eagles beating you next week.
Oh, man. I don't want to have to deal with that. But go on, Giants. All right. So... so let's build that emotional insurance right now and talk up the Giants, shall we? So Daniel Jones is definitely in play, right? So let's look at just the QBs on this slate. He's sub 14K, and like if we talk about quarterbacks with ceiling, when you're rushing for 90 yards on the ground and scoring rushing touchdowns, mate, give me Daniel Jones.
Play the man. Play the man.
It just makes sense. So this isn't like a Lawrence or when we talk about Kirk where you probably want to double or maybe triple stack. I think Daniel Jones, because he's got so much of the work on the ground, double stacking might actually work against you because so much of his score is just coming from himself. So I'm probably just keen to just join with one pass catcher. And if you look at over the last few weeks in games that mattered, or not last week when Golladay actually made some plays, it's been Richie James and Isaiah Hodgkins. And I don't know, Ron, maybe I've landed these two and I'm falling in love with these teams like Lawrence's value with the Jags. But when you're looking at the top two receivers, again, having Richie James at 10K, Hodgkins at 7.7K. I can't say his name. Just
put some respect on the man, Hodgins.
Hodgins. Darius Slayton as well, just thrown in the mix there at 6.9K, but not as much. It's really the James and Isaiah Hodgkinsons. So spring cycle through those guys is basically what I'm saying. With Jones, no one else. Tight ends are a wasteland in New York. Yes, they're 5K, but really, only if you must play a 5K guy.
It's Cage or Bellinger. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's either of those two, but it's just Bellinger. It's really just Bellinger.
Yeah.
If you want one.
Maybe 1 in 20 match lineups. I might put one in. So yeah, as I said, it's to me this is like playing Jacksonville stacks on the Sunday slate. That the value is huge. And again, don't double stack. Just play with one pass catcher and maybe Saquon. We saw in the last time on Christmas Day when that's his one ceiling game, maybe for the year. And that's with Daniel Jones going off as well. And so normally you don't see that correlation happen. So don't be afraid to play Saquon with your Jones and a pass catcher. So there's 3 Giants there. I don't mind that. And then maybe you bring it back with a couple Minnesota guys if you think it's going to shoot out. And
game stack it.
Yeah, go full game. Minnesota, let's go on the other side. Saquon, again, he's the only 17 K plus running back on the slate as well, which is interesting. Minnesota, last 5 weeks, they're first in explosive pass, 7th in pass EPA per play, 4th in pass percentage, 5th in pass rate over expectation. They are throwing the ball a lot, and generally that's good. They are 4th in neutral pace of play. Again, all these things correlate with fantasy points. Jefferson's got a chip on his shoulder. He had his pants pulled down against Green Bay. He had the second half off last week against Chicago, who it didn't matter. To me, yes, he's 20K, but mate, he probably wants to come out and just show the world that, hey, piss off, I'm still the best receiver in the game. Yeah. And against the Giants, we saw a few weeks earlier, that was his last 30-plus game. And before the last 2 weeks, that's basically was almost his floor was his ceiling. So at 30 points. So love Jefferson, and I think he's worth paying your 20K for. I mean, come on, Draftstars, round that up to 20K. So obviously, if you think this game's going to be a shootout, Kirk is in play, right? So you got to, yes, a lot of people just hate Kirk. Oh, primetime Kirk. Blah, blah, blah. Look, I understand as a fan, all right? It hurts. But for DFS, I hope everyone feels that. And he goes off with low ownership. And so I'll be on it. So you're pairing him with Jefferson and one other. And the last time these guys went off, it was Hawkinson also having his ceiling game of, what was it? 38 points, 9 points.
That was stupid. 13 for 109 and 2.
Yeah.
Go big or go home. He went
yeah.
big.
So like I said, there would have been about half of the top 10 lineups were Kirk, Jefferson, Hawkinson stacks. And, I mean, why not rinse, repeat? Like,
yeah.
Especially if people now have a bad taste in their mouth that Minnesota are frauds, because maybe they are. Do it. Osborne's an interesting character. He's no longer the 6K Osborne. He's now an 8.8K. Makes it a little less appealing to play. But if he can get a touchdown and 60 yards, he still pays off. What do you think, Rowan, about old KJ?
Yeah, look, I think you can't be deceived. Don't want to be deceived by the numbers of late, because I think in reality that 4.7 is the usage that we're going to likely get. Like, they go to Osborne when the others don't work out.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. And so he played great against Chicago because they took the others off the field. He played great against Green Bay because Jefferson was locked down. He played, so on. So KJ's
almost
fine.
He's almost a one-off play, maybe.
7Ks than the 8.
Almost a one-off if you're playing other stacks, then, Rowan, by that
potentially.
theory.
Like, if you hope, like, I wouldn't correlate Osborne and Jefferson together.
Yep.
I don't think that's a poor correlation.
That makes sense. Thielen just continually drives us nuts, doesn't he? Like,
he just continues to be an old man. I think that's the reality.
So, I mean,
touchdown or bust.
That's it, and sometimes that works, but most likely not. So, how are we playing this game, Rowan? I'm 50-50 really on this one. So if I go the Kirk side, it's with Jefferson and Hawkinson, as I said, rinse repeat, and bringing it back with a James or Hodgkinson's.
Yeah. Sounds good.
On the other side, it's Jones and Saquon with one of those pass catches, and bringing that back with Hawkinson, who I haven't talked about mainly because I just overlooked my notes, was Dalvin Cook. Look, on paper, if you look at the matchup, this is where you attack the Giants on the ground, right? The Giants are dead last in rush EPA per play and explosive rush percentage. But Dalvin, my man, like, is he a shadow of his former self now? He's just not delivering. And so potentially, if this is a back and forth, I think I'm going to fade Dalvin this week. I don't know. We need 25 plus
Madison?
points. I just don't think. I mean, 19 points last week was because, again, second half off. Like, I just don't think. I don't think it's a big. It's not an even enough split to run with Madison with confidence unless Cook gets injured.
Fair enough.
And they're just not doing enough on the ground. They're just having to air it out to keep in games.
Yep.
Because their defense sucks.
Cool. Yeah. Last one. We got Baltimore at Cincinnati. Guess what? These guys played last week.
Yes.
And a game that mattered. Burrow played the whole time as well. So let's be honest. Lamar Jackson is very unlikely to play. I'm not going to be touching him. I'm not going to be touching Tyler Huntley if he gets up. I'm not going to be touching. Who's the other guy? Anthony Brown. Let's just avoid quarterbacks from Baltimore. If I'm looking at the matchup here, Baltimore's offense for the last month, they are 26th in total EPA per play. They are 28th in pass EPA per play. They are 13th in rush EPA per play and first in explosive rush percentage.
Oh.
That sounds all right. But guess what? Cincinnati, they are third in defending total EPA per play. They are 10th in defending pass EPA per play. And they are first in defending rush EPA per play. Fourth in defending explosive rushes. So let's take all that in mind and look at this and go, Cincinnati wins against Baltimore's passing options. Like, that's just how it is. This Cincinnati team is geared for the Super Bowl. Baltimore, without Lamar Jackson, are trash.
They're making up the numbers.
Like, they're seriously just... This is a game where you go, okay, Cincinnati wins. Cincinnati are favored by 7 points. I think it should be more. I look at this and go, all right, Baltimore have nothing to give me in terms of quarterbacks. Do they have something to give me in terms of running backs? Like I said, they're first in explosive rushes. However, Cincinnati have been good at defending the rush. And when this team is so one-dimensional, Cincinnati should be able to defend that, no problem.
Yep.
That being said, J.K. Dobbins is the guy. Could he do something? He only put up 44 rushing yards against Cincinnati back in October. So, very hesitant to play J.K. Dobbins. But really, it's him or it's Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews came alive against Pittsburgh last week. But am I expecting anything else from him? And the answer is most likely no. Cincinnati, in terms of schedule-adjusted fantasy points against, they are giving up the 13th least amount of points to tight ends, so there's nothing really to say there. If anything, Cincinnati giving up in terms of what they give up the most points to in terms of fantasy points, it's to the wide receivers. And guess what? Baltimore have 0 wide receivers that I care about. Where's the first one? The first one here it's Sammy Watkins and DeMarcus Thompson, ex-Chiefs players who are old and both priced at 6K because they're neither of them doing
Just move
anything.
on. Can we talk about Cincinnati?
Yeah, okay. So Cincinnati are passing the most. They are first in pass rate over expectation. They are the best in dealing with pressure. They are 5th in points per game. And they're just really good. They're just really, really good. On the other side, Baltimore defensively, being middle of the road. 15th in total EPA per play defensively. 16th against the pass. 21st against the rush. So the place to probably attack them is rushing, maybe. But Cincinnati don't care. I think this is a situation where Cincinnati go, we're going to go out. We're going to play our game. We're not going to care about what Baltimore show us too much because otherwise we'll get in our own heads. The way I'm going to play this is going to be through Burrow, through the air. I'm going to take it to my guys that I know are going to provide me with fantastic ability to make contested catches and get that play done. Higgins, I think this is really Higgins' fault. He just missed this big catch down the sideline last week against Baltimore. Look for redemption. So really, it's Chase Higgins-Boyd. Chase at 18.8 is a lot, but let's be honest, he's got the ceiling.
Exactly.
The thing here, I think the question we have to ask is there's two ways I think this goes. It's Baltimore somehow keep it competitive. I don't know how, but then you see Chase and Higgins and Boyd go big.
Yep.
Or Cincinnati control this game early, and it's a mix-in game. I think there's a possibility here for this. Look, he put up 17.8 points against them last week. He's getting catches, 5 for 41, 27 yards on the ground, not much, but he scores a touchdown. Mixon's always a shot for a touchdown. I think if we're going to wrap this up because I think it's so one-sided, but the way I'd like to attack this is 2 ways. 2 ways you attack this. One is you play Burrow, Chase Higgins, and bring back with Andrews because if Baltimore are competitive, it's because Andrews is playing well. Like I don't think there's any other piece that makes this game exciting other than Mike Andrews. J.K. Dobbins is not going to get it done in terms of fantasy points. So it's Burrow, Chase Higgins, and then bring back with Andrews. Keep it simple. Or let's just call it what it is and play Mixon with the Cincinnati defense. That's the stack. Just play that and get out of this game because I think this game could be a bit of a slow burn because Baltimore are just... They're going to stock it up on defense. They're going to get 3 and out on offense. Cincinnati will force through a few touchdowns through Mixon, and that might be it. So that's how I'm kind of viewing this game. I don't know if you see any other pathway.
Nailed it.
Good. Let's quickly build a Monday lineup.
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's go to quarterback. And I think this is the biggest conversation, but I really like Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Yep.
I think let's run it the way you want it. Let's put Barkley in.
Yep. And then
let's
one of the guys.
Let's put Hodgins. I mean, I really like Richie James, but Hodgins seems to be finding the end zone, and so that excites me. Bring it back with old JJ.
Yeah, mate.
All right, it limits us here. 8.2k remaining. I don't know if I can put the mix in.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
It's tough. Let's see if we can make it happen. Right, tight end lands. We're gonna go cheap.
What do you want to go? Hurst? Hurst at sub 6?
Yeah, I didn't talk about Hurst, did I? Hurst at sub 6 is fine. I think almost I'd just go Bellinger, to be honest, just because he's 5k and throw it away. But Dawson Knox is my favourite, but that makes it too expensive.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
Put Hurst in, see what happens.
All right, I've got 7k remaining per player. This is ugly. I don't really like this one because we're avoiding Buffalo, Miami, but we could play McKenzie. Yeah,
I don't think it works.
I don't think it does. All right, let's take Mixon out. Running backs. Who do we like? Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, Jeff.
Jeffy boy. I've got 8k remaining now. Can I play both of these guys? I don't know if I want to. Oh, I still don't love this Arch.
Yeah. I don't want Richie James.
No,
for that
no,
double
neither do
stack. I'd almost go a Tyler Boyd or a KJ Osborne as a GPP play.
Sure. What can I get? Can I get Knox? Not quite. Not quite. So close.
Bit of work to do on the Monday slate.
That's it. Anyway, there's other ways to play this game. Okay, Monday's turning into a little bit trickier than
we'll post the Sunday one on TikTok, Ron. Don't worry about
it. That's it. Alrighty. Let's just quickly go through our favourite guy at each position real quick. So let's talk quarterbacks. For Sunday, my favourite quarterback is Trevor Lawrence, and for Monday, it is Josh Allen. Where are you at?
Yeah, mine's Trevor Lawrence as well on the Sunday. Daniel Jones on my Monday.
Sweet. Running backs, I'm going to be a little bit different here with my favourite running back is Elijah Mitchell. CMC is very, very close second. And on Monday, my favourite running back is Joe Mixon.
Yep, I've gone Travis Etienne on Sunday and old Jeffy Wilson with Mostert's thumb, hopefully giving him the workload.
That's it. Wide receivers, Sunday, my favourite wide receiver is Tyler Lockett. And on Monday, my favourite wide receiver is Isaiah Hodgins.
Hey. Yeah, Sunday mine's Christian Kirk, and then I love a bit of Jefferson, of course, on the Monday.
Nice. Tight ends, Sunday favourite is Kittle, and my Monday favourite is Knox.
I love a bit of Ingram on Sunday, and probably Hawkinson on Monday.
Yeah. And my favourite DST is Jacksonville. Is this the return of Saxonville?
Yeah, I think so.
It could be. And then on Monday, it's the Bills.
Yeah. If it wasn't Jacksonville for mine, Seattle is the obscure play because everyone's on San Francisco. And then Bengals, they got 19 points against Baltimore last week. So
love it.
Just go again.
That's it. Well, everybody, I'm excited for Wildcard Weekend. I hope you are too. Don't forget to gamble responsibly, 1-800-858-858. But we'll see you on the leaderboards. Arch, it's been fantastic. Bring it on.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.